Interviewers, the problem with them is they are overloaded with work. This is just an added responsibility on them. They squeeze in time to take the interviews. And from the manager side, they try to look out for the cultural fit, technical fit, how your previous experience will be a little bit of overlap with the current requirements, and how this person will add value to the team. Myself, Kapil Rajwani. I have 7+ years of experience. I've worked in Adobe, Microsoft, ServiceNow, and Oracle. I won't be able to show you a fancy number in terms of mentoring because all I have done is one-to-one mentorships all throughout. And I have mentored close to 53 students. So we need to be concerned with 3 people only who will have a look at our resume. One is the HR, one is the interviewer, one is the manager. HRs will have hundreds of resumes to go through. Interviewers, the problem with them is they are overloaded with work. This is just an added responsibility on them. They squeeze in time to take the interviews. And from the manager side, they try to look out for the cultural fit, technical fit, how your previous experience will be a little bit of overlap with the current requirements, and how this person will add value to the team. So these are things we should try to focus on. You can get all the resume templates on YouTube, on Google. Okay, this resume helped me get into Google, Facebook, and anything. But these are things which we should be aware of while we are trying to craft a resume. So my main agenda is answering why these things are important. Now we'll go through all of them, like how should we cater our resume for the HR. First point, for the HR, the main thing is they have limited time. They try to scan through every resume by maximum 7 to 8 seconds. Okay, so we need to make sure that we are trying to make our resume look more professional. How we can do that? First point, we should have a presentable professional email ID. For example, we have Avinash_cool_dude resume. No, rejected. Gaurav_final_ resume. No, rejected. The third one, which we have mentioned here. Herein I have all the details: my name, my years of experience, my last role, and my college credentials or company credentials, whichever you feel is the most highlight of your point. So they don't need to open the resume to see, okay, this guy can be a good fit. Let's try to schedule his interview. Try to make their life easy. Coming to the next point in the resume, grammatical mistakes. So from my HR's perspective, what I have heard over the past discussion which I had with them is, if you cannot maintain your resume, which according to them is your most important document, how we can trust you with the responsibility of work we are giving your current team. You should not have any grammatical mistakes because that is getting spread across the industry. That is your proof of work. So you should not have any grammatical mistakes. Next point, we should try to discuss the business problems you have solved. The reason for that is HR people are not very technical. They try to map, okay, this is the profile requirements which we have. This is the resume which we have. Can we match the tech stack to the tech stack in this resume? Can I match, okay, this was the project he has worked on earlier, and this can match to our project in the current role. If we can do that, we can get past the HR stage. So these are the things which I want you to be aware and to be cautious next time you are creating your resume. Interviews. So the main concept in one line, if I want to tell you how interview will select you, they want to find a coworker who will be an asset to the team or them. So what I mean by asset is, okay, this guy will require some kind of a ramp up. This guy will require some kind of a knowledge transfer, but he can do things on his own. He will be able to contribute. He will be able to share our workload. How we can do that? So first thing is trust. How we can do that? We need to be very honest about our work experience and tech stack used. I'll give you an example. So one of my mentees has mentioned Kubernetes in his resume just to know, okay, this is a cool keyword. This is a trending keyword. I will add it. But the guy on the other side who was taking his interview, he was applying for the Kubernetes certification. So obviously he saw, okay, this is my interest. I can ask questions on that. He started asking questions. After 2 questions, the mentee was not able to proceed forward. What happened in the end? Rejection. Reason? Because that shows that you did not have in-depth knowledge. In case you want to add that thing and that's not your expertise, you need to mention beginner level in that. We need not write everything which we have worked upon and we don't have technical expertise on in the resume, because that can make or break your resume. Second point, highlights the project which you show in which you can show good contribution. So how will that help? So for example, there is a tech lead taking your interview and you say, okay, I have developed this application from end to end. Assuming, okay, I can just fool him. I can just tell him, okay, these are things I have done, and they won't be able to catch. But with their level of expertise, with their level of experience, they have gone through hundreds of interviews. They know which questions to ask, till which level we need to ask. What is the DB schema we can ask? What is the API schema which we can ask? How we can ask the architectural diagram? So mention the projects in which you have good contribution and not the projects which have the high visibility only, and explain them end to end. So my main agenda is mention the projects in the order in which you want to discuss them. So you should be able to drive the interview by yourself. You should mention those keywords which you should be able to explain for 5 to 6 minutes, give a real life example and show how was your impact in there. Moving ahead, now comes the main important person, the manager. Okay. In this thing, you need to be more technical plus business driven. You need to mention the projects wherein you can discuss and show the impact. So the impact can be in terms of, okay, if I've just mentioned, okay, I have from the backend people, I've just reduced the latency in this application and that helped it become faster. But that's a very vague statement, right? If I can show that I had make the changes which impacted the end-to-end time from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, that is a 20% reduction. In that case, I can show the impact. I can show, okay, this was the thing which helped the business. Then always we need to show some kind of a leadership and a team player skills. Why is that helpful? So for the leadership part, if you can show that, okay, I have tried to maintain the deadlines which were assigned for this project. I am a team player. I can take on more work if required. Not every time. Overworking is not a good trait. But if you can try to help new people, new folks who have joined, try to mentor them, try to get them on speed. These are things which will help the team scale. And manager looks how he can help the team scale. It's not just about you. It's about the team, how he can deliver some things. Then, like most of the people say, and that's a true thing, make resume specific to the role, to the company. Make sure that you're aligning yourself with the company values. Your resume, your work should be in line with what the company is looking for. So in short, we want to show that we are eager for this role. We are eager to join this team and the company. And as an additional tip outside of the resume, always have some smart questions. It should not be like, okay, how many working days, what are the working hours, salary. These are not relevant things to ask to a manager. Try to show a genuine interest. What's the tech stack? What is the day-to-day responsibilities for the current role you are hiring? What are the growth metrics? What are the things you measure people on? These are the things which help manager gauge that, okay, this candidate is genuinely interested and is not doing this interview just for preparation or just doing this as a mock interview. This should not be the way. Therein, I will like you to go through this resume for 2 minutes. This is my own resume. I have not kept anyone else's resume. You might find some mistakes, but what I have tried to do over here is I have tried to keep it very crisp so that it can cater to all the 3 people I have just said, the interviewer, the HR, and the manager. So let me go through the first example. Here in Adobe backend developer. Okay, the role and the name is mentioned. The duration is mentioned. The place is mentioned. Now coming to the project side. I've mentioned the team name. Now I've just included some technical details. This is just a starting point. Responsible for garbage collection of all the assets created by cloud products across Adobe like Photoshop, PDF. Here I'm just giving an introduction. Okay, this is what my team does overall. This is just a brief. This is a starting point for a conversation with the interviewer or with the hiring manager. But for the people in HR, they want to know, they want to see, okay, what is the thing he has done? So I've always mentioned technology used at the end of every company so that they can match the things. Coming to the impact part, I have just mentioned our services are responsible for cleanup of 1.2 petabyte of data per month, hence reducing the storage cost. So how does this engineering problem we are trying to solve is helping the company? At what rate we are trying to do? So this number, this metric can be a point of discussion. Okay, in how much time you have scaled from 0 to 1.2 petabyte of per month? What are the things which you have done? What are the optimizations you have done? So these are things which will help you drive the discussion, because the interviewer and the hiring manager will ask questions on these only. They won't go in any other direction. So you need to drive your own discussion with your resume. LinkedIn profile I have mentioned, and these links are clickable. So make sure any link you are mentioning here should be clickable. Try to have one master resume and try to make copies of that. For example, if you are applying for a product-based company which is in back-end work, or something is in front end work, something is in full stack work. So try to make copies cater to the particular role. So LinkedIn, most of the people have this bias ki I don't need to spend time on LinkedIn, and my reaction is this. LinkedIn is the new digital resume which you have. Anyone who is trying to hire is on LinkedIn. Anyone who is trying to get hired is on LinkedIn. So why don't we spend time over there?